Hey y'all, welcome to the SOUPerstar Show. I'm your host, Gracie James Campbell. Spill the soup with me, where we talk about life, love, and all of the chaos in between. Today's episode is going to be entitled Red Flags, Coffee Orders, and Being a Professional Stan. So today we're going to be talking about, obviously, red flags in relationships, my current coffee obsessions, and my unhealthy obsession and knowledge about Tom Holland and Zendaya. Okay, so first thing we're talking about is red flags in relationships. So I wrote down just some kind of like vague points that I think are huge red flags in my personal opinion. And starting off strong, this might be a very niche one actually, but I feel very strongly about this opinion. I think that specifically, and this can go for either gender, but I think specifically when a guy does not treat his mother well, like when he does not respect his mom, when he calls her names or doesn't respect them or their parents' time or dismisses them or just doesn't treat them like they're an active authority in their life, like that is such a red flag. And I genuinely believe that because I think that, this is my hot take kind of maybe, but I think that like if a guy does not respect his mom, he's not going to respect you. And it might not be in the beginnings of a relationship, but at some point in your relationship, at some point down the road, he's going to disrespect you. And if he lies to his mom, he's going to lie to you. If he calls his mom names, he's going to call you names at some point. I just genuinely think those two things like coincide because you grow up with that like figure in your life, and like that's how you learn to respect women. So like if you're not respecting the most important person in your life, you're the most important woman in your life, then when you, as the person that's dating or marrying this person, you are not going to become the most important person, and they're not going to like show you any respect or treat you kindly because they don't do that with their own mom. So that's the first one. This is a big one, and I think this one has gotten so much worse as social media has like kind of gotten bigger. But love bombing. I think that love bombing, like I've personally experienced love bombing from multiple people, and I feel like at first, especially when you're young, it's not something that you like really notice because at the time you're just like, oh my gosh, he likes me so much, or he's so in love with me, and you just think that like that's kind of the standard of like what love is. And that's something that I've learned through my relationships, is that like if it is that good at the beginning, if it is that like amazing and like they can't live without you and they can't go 10 minutes without texting you and like they have to fall asleep with you on the phone and like all of those things, they become like so attached to you at first, like that is going to slowly dwindle because that's what they're doing to like get you. They're doing all of that up front so they can have you and make you feel so loved, and then slowly but surely they'll just kind of like chip away at those things and not do them anymore. And then like something that coincides with that is gaslighting. Now this might be something that's like specifically with narcissists. And I know that some people don't like that word, but I think so many men in our generation, especially at the college age level, are so narcissistic. And love bombing and gaslighting are two of those things that I really do think that like goes into being a narcissist. And when you're love bombing, like when someone is love bombing you, like it feels great because you're like, oh yeah, like they love me and this makes sense. Like, oh, I finally found the one, like they treat me so perfect and nothing's wrong with them and nothing could ever go wrong. This is the most perfect relationship ever. And then once that starts to kind of fade, because in every situation it does, because there's no consistency with that. There's no like steadiness. There's no like there's no fault in it, and there's no like dips ever. And so like when the dips do start to come, you're like, wait, this isn't like who you are. Like you didn't used to like not text me at night, and you used to always respond really quickly. And then they kind of are like, no, like that's a you problem. Like, why are you so attached to me? Why are you so, like, why do you need this? And And it's like, well, that's like the standard that you set at the beginning of our relationship. And I think that those are just huge red flags. And there's just a couple, but they are so big. And I want to go into talking about these more, like with someone else in another podcast, just kind of like talk about our personal experiences with those things. But those are some huge red flags. Some subtle red flags that I think are like just the big, like they're subtle, right, when they're happening, but they're huge when you realize it. Like this is something that I've realized through my relationship that I like super overlooked as a younger person. And mind you, I'm only 21, but as a younger person, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter that he doesn't know my favorite flower, or that he doesn't know my coffee order, or doesn't know that I like silver jewelry and not gold jewelry. But that stuff matters. That shows you how much attention someone is like paying to you. Because like, for instance, like a guy I dated in high school, like he hated cinnamon gum, right? I love cinnamon gum, but I would start to keep mint gum in my purse so that like he could have gum when I had gum.
Wow.
Because it's not that hard to buy another pack so that he feels loved. Like when I'm eating gum, he can have gum too. And it's like little things like that. Like when someone doesn't do that for you, you start to like really realize like, oh, like they just don't care about me. And it's like little things, but they really do add up. I dated a guy for almost 2 years. And when I tell you, he never got me the flowers that I liked. Like literally never got me the flowers I liked. I'm a girl who loves tulips. I love yellow tulips. I love any tulip, but specifically yellow tulips. I love baby's breath. I love the little rainbows, baby's breath. I like the big bundles of like super like kind of wildflowery looking flowers. I hate roses. I don't like roses. And I dated this man for too long, and he never once got me the flowers that I liked. Literally never. And we had conversations about like, he would ask me like what my favorite flowers were, and he would ask me like what I liked, and he'd be like, oh, would you like these? And I'd be like, yeah. And like he knew, but he never like took mental note or even wrote it down. It doesn't take that much effort to write something down. When I'm dating someone, like I keep track of the things that they love. Like, oh, when we go to Chick-fil-A, like he likes this in case I ever want to surprise him with something. And that's like kind of leading into like coffee order. We're gonna talk about this more later, but I am a huge coffee girl. And when you're ordering at some places, like if you don't order it the right way, like it is not good. Period. It's just not good. And so like taking note, like guys, if you're listening, take note of this. If your girl likes a certain drink at Starbucks and a different drink at Dunkin' and a different drink at the local coffee place in your town, like you should know what she likes, because not every girl likes every kind of coffee. Like I love coffee. I'm a coffee guru. I love coffee. But even with that, like there are some coffee drinks that I won't drink because I don't like the flavoring that goes into it, or it's not sweet enough, or it's too sweet, whatever the case is. And so like knowing that when you go to Starbucks, you get a vanilla latte with 3 pumps of simple syrup, like that's important to know. And that's something that he just like never got. And I've had that in like a lot of relationships where it's like they just don't like care enough. Or like one time for my birthday, I was turning 20, I think, and he didn't wish me happy birthday, and he ended up bringing me flowers like at the very, very end of the day, like when he was done with work, and they were flowers that I did not like at all. Like they were just not pretty flowers, and I appreciated the the effort, like to get me something at least. But then he brought me his favorite candy. They're like the dark chocolate, like caramel coated, like little caramel bites with like the sea salt on top. And like I like all chocolate and I like all candy, like I'm a super easy person to please. I like those. But like if I was going to pick something out for myself, like I would never pick those for myself. And so, but he got the ones that he liked. And I was just kind of like, okay. And he didn't plan a dinner. He didn't give me any presents other than those 2 things. And at this point, we had been dating like exclusively for like over a year. So, and like mind you, for his birthday, I like made him this huge like canvas thing with like all these pictures of us like Mod Podge on it, and I got him his favorite drink and his favorite candies, and I wrote him like a bunch of letters, and I put them all like in a little container with like a big bow. And man, I did some other stuff. Oh, I made like a canvas, like a handprint on it, and I wrote like a Bible verse on it, and I like sewed stuff into the handprint so it looked like there was flowers coming out of it. Like, I put a lot of effort into like making him gifts and like getting things for him that he really liked, and he never did that for me, which is totally cool. Like, if you're not gonna do that, then like that's fine. You're not for me, that's fine, it's cool. Bye. But like, that is a huge red flag in my book, and that's something that I've noticed like since then, like going into like dating situations, like if they want to, they will. It's that simple. If they want to, they will. I'll never forget, I ended up dating a guy over the summer, and it was very short-lived, super short-lived, but it was fun, and we actually dated. It wasn't just like, you know, like just hanging out. Like we dated. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for a short bit, and he got me, he looked for like, he was picking me up from where I was working, and he was late, which I was like, okay, great, he's late. And he showed up, and he had gone to 4 different stores looking for yellow tulips, and he ended up coming with like yellow roses, and they had like pink like little baby's breath like around them. And he was like, I am so sorry, I literally went to like 3 different stores or 4 different stores, and I couldn't find tulips anywhere. Like, I literally looked forever, that's why I'm late. And I have never appreciated a thing of flowers so much. And it actually made me like yellow roses, which is really ironic because I hated roses all growing up, but I actually like yellow roses now. And yeah, so I was like, it was really thoughtful, and he had taken me on like this huge, like elaborate date that he had like put a lot of effort into. So it wasn't like a cop-out that he was looking for tulips. Like, I really did believe him. And that was in a very short relationship. He hadn't known me super long, and it wasn't like a love bombing thing. Like, he really did care, and he showed it in like a respectful manner. And so I don't know. I think that like red flags, you just kind of grow out of like not seeing them, or you grow out of like, yeah, like I feel like growing up when you're just immature and you don't know, like genuinely it's not even that you ignore them. Like, I think that like as girls, we just like believe the best in that person, and they're like, oh no, like they really do love me, they really do want to do this thing for me, they really do, you know. And you kind of just like make excuses when they don't, or when they start to not do those things anymore. And shoot, I feel like the older I've gotten, and like the more like wisdom I've gotten, and the more I've listened to the people like that are older and wiser than me, the more easily I pick out red flags. Like, it is so easy for me to like look at someone in a relationship now and be like, oh, this is gonna be why they break up, because like there's a huge red flag in either one or both of them. And like, I'm not oblivious, I'm sure I have red flags too, you know. Like, I know that I struggle in some areas, and like, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, because in no situation are you going to be perfect. And neither the perfection is not the expectation. But that being said, I think it's about intentionality and effort, and like truly knowing someone's heart. And like I said with the flowers thing, like I truly believe that his intention was to get me yellow tulips, and like that was really sweet, and he did the best he could to give me something that I still liked. And I liked it, and because I knew he was being intentional. And so I think that that's like kind of where it comes from, is like, you gotta know the intention of the person that you're dating, you know. Like, if it had been the other guy, the guy who like didn't get me the stuff for my birthday, if he'd been like, oh, like I looked everywhere, I like would not have believed him, because I know that it wouldn't have been true. He just would have gotten the first thing he saw and been like, well, they're flowers, she'll like them. And while that has like a sweet component to it, it's just like, it's not the intention that I think I deserve. And I think that there's nothing wrong with knowing what you deserve, and knowing your worth, and knowing that, okay, I'm not going to accept anything less, because at the end of the day, you only get to be with one person for the rest of your life. And so you gotta have a standard and you gotta stick to it. And that's something I've learned through all my mistakes, is that like you can't pick that person and just hope for the best, right? You have to like really see the red flags and address them or avoid them and find somebody else. So yeah, I think red flags is such a funny term. This is kind of taking a turn, but I think that like a red flag is just so funny because this might be kind of psychotic, but I started doing this thing where I like, there's a guy that I'm interested in, even if it's like, okay, we're just friends or like we're just talking or whatever, I will like, in my notes app, I'll like write their name and then I'll write like pros, like green flags and red flags. And something that I do personally, like I do this kind of mentally, and I always have kind of done this mentally, but this is something I started jotting down because I think it's just easier to see things when you can actually read them, is like, is that first off, when you're younger, I feel like you kind of like, everyone like starts at 100, right? So you meet a person, you're like, oh, they're cute, they're sweet, they start at 100, and you like start like, when they do something bad, you're like, oh, 99, oh, 98, oh, 97. And you start to kind of like, well, he kind of is mean to his friends, or he kind of, I don't know, I think he's kind of lying, or he's, you know, he doesn't apply himself to school, or he doesn't have any big dreams, or whatever, you know, like, and you start to kind of like narrow down, like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna work because, well, I thought you were really cool, but I don't know. And that's something I did for a long time, just kind of mentally. And then after my long relationship that I ended up ending because of just a million different things, I started to realize that like I was still doing that, and I was like still pulling those numbers away. Something I started to do is that in my notes app, I'll like put their name and then I'll put like, I'll give them a point. So everyone starts at 0, because everyone should start at 0. Like no one should have all of your trust at the very beginning. Like you just met them, you don't know them from Adam. And that's something I was really like what is that word? Perspective shift. Yeah, perspective shift. For me, it's like, okay, I'm not giving you all my trust right now. You don't have to know, like I don't have to give you all of my trust right now, but you can slowly earn it. And so like, okay, like they have a great family. Okay, here's a point. Okay, they don't curse. That's 2 points. Okay, they have a great relationship with the Lord. Loki has 50 points, but you know what I mean? Like it's okay, there's a good point. And like, okay, like they don't do this, and like just keeping like note of it, because it is so easy to forget those things unless you have them jot down, or like if you have a best friend, you know, keeping kind of like open communication about that with your best friend. Or for me, it's my mom. Like my mom knows everything, and I think that that's a great way to keep myself accountable. It's just like having a good relationship with my mom and knowing like, hey, like I really like this guy, but he did this thing. Is that something I should be concerned about? Because she is much wiser than me and lived a lot more life than me. I can trust her to be like, nah, like in the long run, that's not gonna matter that much. Or, that's a really big red flag. I would definitely watch that. And then I do yellow flags where I'm like, okay, maybe this was like an incident, like I'm not sure. But if it happens again and again, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely red flags. Because that wasn't just like an act out of character, it was really their character, because they've done it multiple times. And that's just some of my advice when it comes to red flags. By no means have I had amazing relationships, but because I haven't had amazing relationships, I have learned a few things. So yeah, I've had my fair share of dealing with red flags. But a couple other subtle ones that I think are just kind of dumb, but low-key, they legit. I think when anyone calls this is so dumb because you might not be a Taylor Swift fan, but I think when someone calls like, let's say Taylor Swift, or like, who's a big actress, Zendaya, or Brad Pitt, when they're like, oh, they're so overrated, I'm like, something's like gotta be wrong with you, like internally. Because like, honestly, like I love Taylor Swift. I don't have like her posters hung on my wall or anything like that. Like I've been to a Red concert when I was younger, and I followed along with her music for the most part. I haven't listened to her newer stuff near as much. Not going to the Eras tour. Like I'm not that dedicated. But I would never, ever, ever say Taylor Swift is overrated. Ever. Never. Because simply, she has put so much work in to be where she is. Like she's making so much money. She's clearly very lyrically talented and musically talented, and she might not have the greatest voice on the entire planet all of the time, but do you know how many reps and like time and effort she's put into becoming a strong musician? And like not every song's gonna be a hit, right? But like most of her stuff is. And like I don't know, I think that like if you're like, oh, like I don't understand why Brad Pitt's and everything, like he's not even that good of an actor, you're like, it's like, okay, well, he's been in like some of the best movies. Or like Ryan Gosling, for instance. I've heard that one, like, I don't get Ryan Gosling. And I'm like, he's literally been in The Notebook, La La Land, like those movies are phenomenal and his performance is great. What's that other one that Ryan Gosling's in that I love? Oh my gosh, with Steve Carell and Emma Stone. I can't remember what it's called, but that's some of his best performing in my opinion. That in The Notebook is so good. Anyways, he's been acting since he was a kid. He was a Disney kid from like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse stuff back in the day. Like he's vetted, you know, like he has the resume to prove that he's good at it. Just like Taylor Swift and just like Zendaya. Like you gotta have some kind of internal conflict if you can't like accept that they're good at something and like kind of celebrate it a little bit. And so that's like one of my red flags. I'm always kind of like, like what do you got going on inside of you that you can accept that? Another red flag. This is a huge one. This was a big one in one of my past relationships, is that they don't support your like desires and your dreams. This might, if I could like put like number one on my red flag list, besides not having a relationship with Jesus, is not supporting you in your dreams. Because this is my strong opinion. I think that God gave you passions and desires. I think he gave you a skill set to get those passions and desires. And if the person, your significant other, is keeping you from doing that, they're getting in the way of God's plan for you. Period. And like nobody's that important. Nobody is important enough to neglect God's plan for you and neglect the skills God's given you. And that's making them more important than Jesus is in your life, because he has a purpose and a plan for you, and he gave you the skill set, he gave you the desires, he gave you the passion, he gave you the heart and the strength to do that thing. And if that person cannot support you and be your biggest cheerleader, they are not the one. Period. I know I've said that a lot, but it's true. I think that if that person, like for instance, like one of the guys I was with, he would come to my games and he like wouldn't cheer for me.
What?
Like at all. Now, like I'm not expecting you to show up with like huge signs and being like a crazy person on the sidelines, especially in my sport, because it's not really the like way the sport works. It's not the etiquette. But like, shoot, if you showed up with a sign, like that would be sweet. You know, like I don't know, like clap, cheer for me, yell for me, like that's the bare minimum. And like for instance, like if you're pursuing something that's like maybe you're not great at it yet, like even this. If I'm dating someone and they're like, I think your podcasts are dumb, or I think that you trying to write music is stupid, like you're not classically trained, so like why would you even try to do that? Like, I'm sorry, you're not getting in the way of me doing the thing that I want to do. Like, this is what the Lord's put on my heart and I'm going to do it. If you can't support it, shoot, bye. That is so important. And I think that if more girls learn that sooner in life, there'd be so much less heartbreak. So much less heartbreak. Okay. Also, if you want me to talk about anything else related to relationships, let me know. Put it in the comments below. Would love to talk about it. I'm also thinking about doing a Q&A about anything. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'll mention that at the end again too, but okay. So that's just kind of talking about red flags, some things to look out for, some things I've personally dealt with. And yeah, we're gonna move on into segment number 2. So this is coffee talk. The best and worst orders, in my opinion. I love coffee, and I've said this before, but I love coffee. My parents just got a special machine over Christmas break, and I started making my own lattes. And then I fortunately moved in with one of my teammates who has a Breville espresso machine. So I get the luxury of making my own coffee every day, which is super nice, and it's great for my budget. But that being said, I make the same coffee every day when I'm here by myself. I do maple syrup, vanilla extract, half and half, and espresso, and I mix that up, and it is so good. It is so good. I cannot express enough. It is so good. But when I go out, I'm a big vanilla latte girl. I know. Go ahead. Go me if you want, but a good vanilla latte always hits. Always hits. And if it doesn't, then you know the coffee's bad. I judge a coffee shop based off their vanilla latte, I will say. My favorite thing to do actually is to order like on the specialty menu. Most places, especially like local places, have like a specialty drink that they're known for. So like for instance, here in Baton Rouge, there's this little coffee shop called Lighthouse Coffee. And first off, the coolest vibe ever. I literally love this place. I do my homework there all the time. All of their coffee is great. Their food is great. Absolutely love them. They're the best. And it's also owned by a Christian guy and his wife, and they're super cool. But they have this thing on their menu called the cereal latte, which literally tastes like the milk left in the bottom of the bowl when you drink or when you eat Lucky Charms like for breakfast. Y'all, it's so good. And they have a couple other like things. They have the honeybee latte too, which is also really good. It's like honey and lavender. But this cereal latte is like what they're known for, and it is so good. So moving on, what I think your coffee order says about you. Drinking black coffee says to me that you're so wise or psychotic, one of the two. My dad drinks black coffee, and he likes his lattes too, but he drinks black coffee, and he's like one of the wisest people and smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. But I just also think that like drinking black coffee takes such dedication and like discipline, because like I want some kind of flavor in my coffee, and like I've tried it. I've gotten to the point where I can not add cream, but I have to add some kind of sweetener. I just cannot help myself. And so like there's just so much dedication, like to not put something in it, like just to drink from the pot black coffee. And I think that's like, that's usually when someone like drinks a lot of coffee, like they just get used to just drinking. I mean, it's easier to just make the pot of coffee and pour, and that's it, pour and drink. I think that's kind of like my dad does that, but he also works like crazy long hours on movie sets and such, and so like that's just like what he has and what he uses, and he loves it. But I do think that like there is a level of insanity to it. Not saying that my dad's insane, but I just do think that like, I don't know, I love coffee and I want to like really enjoy it. So I don't know, I can't do black coffee, but that's just me. I think that like if you're a Starbucks girly, like, and you like something like really sweet, fancy drink, like I'm not gonna judge you, because I'm not here to judge. But that being said, like I worry that I would never call that person like a super big like quote unquote coffee guru girl, because like you're not really tasting the coffee, you're tasting all the flavoring that goes into it. That's just my opinion. And yeah, I think that the best coffee shops, honestly, I'm not a huge Starbucks supporter just because it's so expensive. I literally went to the airport. I was literally at the airport this weekend coming home from Austin from a tournament, and I got a vanilla latte at Starbucks. And guess how much it was? $9.27. That is insane. That's a whole $10 bill. I'm sorry. I could spend that $10 bill on literally anything else. And the worst part about it is that Starbucks espresso literally tastes so burnt. And so like I'm paying almost $10 for, and like mind you, this is like my only option at the airport, but normally I wouldn't go to Starbucks. $10 on a burnt espresso. Like I'm sorry, I can't do that. So I'm a big supporter of local stuff. I love local coffee shops. They're usually always so much better, cheaper, support local businesses. And yeah, so if you haven't tried a local coffee shop near you, go do it. And if you're in the Baton Rouge area, go to Lighthouse Coffee. It is phenomenal. Maybe I'll see you there. Okay, so going into my last segment, this episode is running a little bit long already, so we're definitely going to go over the 30-minute mark, but I'll try and keep this somewhat short. So, the art of standing Zendaya and Tom Holland. Now, first off, I want to say, I don't know if standing, like being a stan of someone, is still a thing anymore. I might be aging myself right now, but that was a big thing when I was younger, is like, oh, like you're a Tom Holland stan or a Jake Gyllenhaal stan. I don't know. But anyways, if it's still a thing, even if it's not, I am a Tom Holland and Zendaya stan. So the first question is why they're that couple. The talent, the chemistry, the internet breaking moments. They have been iconic forever. Like, even when it was just speculated that they were dating back in the day, like they've always been iconic individually. They're just the coolest people. I think Zendaya is like she's one of my like biggest like celebrity role models, because I just think she is so poised, so collected, but also so her, and she's so unique and funny, and she just does not give a crap about anything. Like, she's gonna be herself, and she's gonna go for it when she's acting and when she's singing, and she's also tried everything. Like, she's literally been an actress, singer, model, like, I think she's directed, like, produced. I remember she ended up producing the last season of Casey Undercover back in the day. Like, she's done everything, and she's good at all of it because she just goes for it, and I really, really admire that. She's also just stunning. She's beautiful, and I love how close-knit she is with her family. Like, she is her own person, she does her own thing, and she knows who she wants to be around. Like, her circle is very small. She says that in a lot of her interviews and such, is that like her mom is like her closest person to her, and she loves her dog Noon, and she loves Tom, and her like best friend who travels with her everywhere. And I don't know, I just think she's so cool. There's something so admirable about someone who keeps their circle small and like achieves such big things. I mean, I've been watching her since Shake It Up days. Like, she's just progressively gotten so much cooler and better, and she's always been cool, but like progressively just like, she's just amazing. I mean, she's literally just iconic. Like, that's just the word I think of when I think of Zendaya. I mean, Replay. If you didn't listen to Replay back in the day, what were you doing? I remember literally like learning the dances on, like when they would do the Vivo like music videos on Disney Channel back when, Disney Channel doesn't exist anymore. That's crazy. Disney Plus does, but the actual channel, gone. Learned that the other day. Anyways, they used to play like Vivo like music videos like as in between commercials and like in between TV shows, and Replay played all of the time. And oh my gosh, I think that's where I fell in love with Zendaya. Like, I just wanted to be just like her when I saw that music video. But she has had a music career. She also has other music beside Replay. Butterflies is really good. One of her first songs is called Swag It Out, and that is one of my like low-key, like, I think it's hilarious. Like, I think the song is so funny, but like the song kind of like gets me going, you know? Love it. But no, seriously, some of her greatest roles, like, she's literally MJ in Spider-Man. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little bit of a Spider-Man fan, and she does a great job. She does a phenomenal job, actually. I love her character in Spider-Man. The Greatest Showman. I mean, come on. Rewrite the Stars. Say less. Literally say less. I haven't personally watched Euphoria. It's not really my kind of show, but I have seen clips of her in it, and obviously she slays because she's Zendaya and she slays. Her fashion, like, that's something I strive to be. I'm not as you can tell, I'm literally wearing gingerbread pants right now and an LSU sweatshirt, and I brushed my hair this morning, but it's, you know, it's not anything special. And like, she's just so like simplistic with her fashion. Even when it's like very crazy and cool, just making a statement, it's very just like simple, and like she kills it. And I think there's something to be said for like, she's not trying all these crazy things that are like super out of the box, but she's like being herself and like bringing something she wants to the table, and she slays it every single time. Obviously she's had a couple ones where I was kind of like, I don't know, this is an interesting take, but still she kills it because she's Zendaya. So yeah, definitely just want to be more like her in like every single way. She's the coolest. And Tom Holland, Tom Holland, he's not my first celebrity crush. That would have to be Zac Efron, but Tom Holland is just amazing. It's sad that he's so short, but hey, he's a short king. He's dating Zendaya. I love that they have that little bit of a height difference, not gonna lie. It's so cute. But no, he's just phenomenal. He just got done with like Romeo and Juliet, and like he's back at doing his theater stuff because he started in like Billy Elliot like back in the day when he was like, I don't know, like 12. And yeah, he's just like, he's amazing. He's a dancer. singer, actor. Like he's great. And also he's adorable. I'm not gonna look over the fact that I think he's the cutest, like the cutest. But yeah, originally kind of like broke my heart that they were together, because I was like, no, I can't have Tom Holland for myself. But I realized that was kind of a crazy thought. But growing up, I genuinely was convinced, like, okay, I'm gonna be cast in a movie and me and Tom Holland are gonna fall in love. That was my little, like, my little wish. But it's grown on me. They are so cute together, and like they're gonna have the cutest kids, and like just they're such a power couple. Like they're just kind people who like do the right thing, and and they just like do what they want to do. They go after what they want, and like I will always admire people who have big dreams and go after them, even like when they fail, because like obviously they both like failed a lot, like getting there. Like I know Tom Holland, like his mom ended up like sending him to like carpentry school to become a carpenter, because he had like one role in The Impossible back when he was like 13, 14, and then they're like, well, this music thing, like you did Billy Elliot, but like in this one movie, but it's not gonna work out for you. You haven't gotten any more, like you've gotten a bunch of auditions, but you haven't gotten enough callbacks. So like, and like he failed a bunch before he like finally got that role. And like low-key, he's like manifested his career. I don't believe in manifestation, but I do believe in like speaking, like, okay, like, death and life and the power of the tongue. And I think that if you speak positively, those things like they can come to fruition. And he's like stated like, oh, my dream role would be to play Spider-Man, and my biggest crush as a kid was Zendaya, and he wanted to do a movie with Christopher Nolan. He's about to do The Odyssey. Like, I don't know, I just think that it's crazy. He just goes for it. I actually live by one of his quotes, which is, and it might be someone else's quote, so don't quote me on that, but he says that he is not a like stranger to nerves, but he just turns those nerves into excitement. And so like for me, like with beach volleyball, like that's not something I ever really experienced. Like I never experienced nerves. I never have. And it's just because I've played for so long, like nothing that comes to me in this sport makes me nervous. But in other aspects of my life, I get super nervous and super anxious. And that's like, even regarding this, like knowing that I'm talking on here and I'm stuttering, or talking in front of people, or leading a Bible study, or going into an audition, or like those things make me so nervous. And so something I live by and something I tell like people around me is like, turn your nerves into excitement, because this is a one in a lifetime opportunity. You're not going to get this moment back. You're not going to get this time back. And those nerves are going to go away. So just turn those nerves into excitement for this moment, and then everything will be fine. And I live by that quote. I love, love, love that. So obviously them as a couple, like I have to appreciate this, because I think this is where I really started to think that they were dating, was after the lip sync battle between Tom Holland and Zendaya. Zendaya did like the Bruno Mars, and Tom Holland did the Rihanna song. And there was a phase in me and my family's life where we would literally watch the Tom Holland and Zendaya's lip sync battle every single night, because my twin siblings, who at the time were super duper young, I don't remember how old they were. They were probably like, I don't know, like 3 to 4 maybe, maybe even younger. I don't know, 3 to 4 I think, maybe 5 at the time, when they would ask to watch the Tom Holland dance before bed, which sounds psychotic now that I'm saying it out loud. But honestly, that was a parenting win by my folks. Like, that was a parenting win. But that being said, I've seen that YouTube video like a million times, and they both slay. Zendaya killed it as Bruno Mars, and Tom Holland, he won. He ate with that. If you have not seen it, go watch it. I'm going to link it in the description below, because it's worth going to go watch. Just shows how talented they are at both like just getting into character and dancing, especially Tom Holland dancing. Like, oh my gosh, he slayed. So this is the reason why I stan them. They're just authentic. They are so talented. And the way that they like mind their business while being iconic is crazy, because I feel like so many actors and actresses get so big and like so high up, they get such a big head and they're like, oh, I'm the best, I'm da 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 da, and they just kind of feel like they're untouchable. But I never get that vibe from Zendaya and Tom Holland. Like, they just like kind of keep living life, and I think part of it's because they have each other and because they're both so close to their family, so they stay super grounded, which is great. But yeah, they're just so authentic and real, and it's so clear that he loves her for exactly who she is. And I love how they have their own lives like outside of each other. Like, obviously they have each other to come back to, but like when they're on projects, like they're doing their own thing, and like they support each other in that. And that's something that like I want to have in my life, is like in my future relationship, is like someone that I know that like, okay, they're gonna be doing their thing and I'm gonna be doing my thing, and we're gonna get to do that by cheering each other on together, and like come together and like work on projects together, or cheer each other on the sidelines. Like, that's something that I want, is like just that authentic, genuine love for the other person and for their desires and for their love in their career, hobbies, whatever it is. Yeah, and I love that her mom is always around, because I have a similar relationship with my mom, and it's super important to me that like I keep that relationship going into like future relationships with like a significant other, because my mom is just so important and I value her opinion so much, and she's been my best friend like my whole life. And so it's super important to me that I just like have a partner who's understanding with that, and like knows that my mom and my siblings are like gonna be around, and my dad, because like they're the only people that I like truly trust and like truly just like adore being around all the time. And so like they're gonna be a huge part of my life, and that's just part of it. If you don't like that, then okay, it's not gonna work. I feel like Zendaya has that mentality as well, and it seemed to work out for her. So yeah, I love that. I actually remember back in the day, and this is like one of the times, I think it's a similar time as like Zendaya was caught like wearing the same like pants or shirt as Tom Holland, like, and they were staying at the same hotel for like a press thing, and she like came downstairs wearing like the shirt that he was wearing the night before or something. And I remember being devastated. It was like, no, oh my gosh, they're together. But then nothing ever came of it, so I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But a similar time, like around that same time, I was right, I think it was the press tour for the first Spider-Man, and there's a video of Zendaya sitting outside, like she took it herself, like her sitting outside the cycling, like a cycling place. She had driven her mom and Tom Holland to a cycling, like, what are those called? A cycling class. And Tom and Zendaya's mom literally did the cycling class together while Zendaya sat outside and waited for them, because she doesn't like working out, and she's like, I'm not doing a cycling class, y'all can do that together. And so they literally went and did that by themselves together. And I just think that's such a cute, like, okay, it shows that like Tom loves Zendaya enough to love her mom because, and have a relationship with her, because that's important to Zendaya. And it's not weird to Zendaya that they did that, because it's not. And I love that. I think that just something that I find great in a partner is when they show that they aren't, like, they love, when you love someone that your partner loves, that is a way of loving someone. And so to me, I'm like, just like the greatest act of love, in one of them anyways. Okay, so I do need to say this as a statement, because I know people are gonna come at me for thinking that Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, because obviously if I'm this big of a stan, he's my favorite Spider-Man. But let me tell you why. Tom Holland, his best role is Spider-Man, I think. I think it suits him so well. But I just think that he embodies Peter Parker and Spider-Man so well together. And yeah, I think Tobey is a great Spider-Man. The movies are great. He's a great Spider-Man. I think Andrew is a phenomenal Peter Parker. And I love his relationship with Emma Stone, playing Gwen. Like, oh my gosh, such good movies. All of them are great movies. I love all of them. But I do think that Tom Holland embodies both Peter Parker and Spider-Man the best, because he has that like athleticness to like actually do the flips and actually do all the things as Spider-Man. But then he also just has like, he plays that nerdy, like awkward kind of like funny, even though he doesn't know it, like awkward funny so well. And he plays the nerdy well too. Like, I believe that he's smart, nerdy, and funny, and also that he can like flip around. Like, he just like embodies that character so well. And yeah, I think, yeah, just to kind of wrap that part up, like, I've always been a Tom Holland Zendaya stan, big fan, if you could say that. Yeah, like, definitely been like a little bit of my obsession growing up. And yeah, I think that they're super cute. They're engaged now, which is so adorable, and I'm in full support. I cannot wait to see what they do. Zendaya is also cast in The Odyssey, and I mean, that cast list is crazy. There's a huge cast list with that. That is just absolutely stacked, but they're in it together, and I cannot wait to see them on the screen together as something else. But yeah, no, huge fan of them, always will be. Think they're great, and I'm sure this topic will come up again at some point. So, but yeah, so just to do a quick recap, we talked about red flags and all of the things that I think are important going in with red flags, and just kind of what comes along with that in a relationship. My current coffee obsessions and my opinions on Starbucks and local coffee shops. And then why Zendaya and Tom own my heart, for real. Shout out, they're the best, love them. Okay, last thing, going to do a hot take with a side of soup, which is a segment where I talk about my bold statements and hot takes. And today's hot take is that I truly believe that Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones are going to end up together. Period. I think he's absolutely in love with her. And mind you, I love Gracie Abrams. I thought they were cute together. Her and Paul were cute, but he is in love with Daisy. And we'll talk more about this on another podcast, but I am convinced that at some point in the near future, they will be dating. And some people think they shouldn't, but I'm in full support. So that's my hot take of the day. If you want to follow me on any of my platforms, I'll also put the links down below and up here on the screen. And as always, Jesus loves you, and I hope you have a great day. And like and subscribe if you feel like it, and give me a follow on other social media platforms. And I love you all very much, and I can't wait to talk to you at the next one. Bye. Smiles.